Hello! I'm Jenny Fern. I'm a chaotic neutral mechanical engineer who's really into permaculture and wants to talk about books. So let's talk about books. Today I'm going to be doing a reading vlog. It has been kind of a long time since I've really filmed a reading vlog. I have taken a day off. It is springtime. I have a day off. I have a few things that I want to do. One of the primary things that I want to do today is vacuum the floor in here, sweep up, maybe do a little bit of mopping, and that's because I want to do some photographing of books today. And it is one of my goals for this spring and summer seasons to do more book photography. I don't know, I just kind of fell off the last few years of doing book photography, but I really find it quite fun composing a photo. I have to pick out a new audiobook. I'm going through my TBR. I will show you. Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, Relativity, Silent World, Replay, Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which is on my bedside table, Stellar, Lilies and Other Stories, Second Stage Lensmen, The Hidden Side of the Moon, The Country of Pointed Furs and Other Stories, A Zoo in My Luggage, and The Cloud People. The only book from here that is offered as an audiobook from my library is Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. What I'd really like to read probably is The Hidden Side of the Moon by Joanna Russ. So I'm going to use, hopefully, if this is available, use one of my husband's Audible credits. I'm gonna pour myself a cup of decaf. This was not available as an audiobook on Audible, which is unfortunate because I really did want to read this one. But I want to read a science fiction book, so I picked up Second Stage Lensmen, which is funny because Joanna Russ, I looked up to see if she had any books on Audible, and the only one that I saw was like How to Suppress Women's Writing or something like that. Anyway, that was kind of funny, because let me see if E.E. Doc Smith is a woman, because I don't think they are. Also, yes, I did just drop a book. Yeah, no, E.E. Doc Smith is a man. Ooh, an engineer. Food engineer. I'm gonna read a manga before I vacuum. I'm gonna sit on that couch and finish reading, I think it's volume 11 of Witch Hat Atelier. I just finished reading volume 11 of Witch Hat Atelier. I'm excited. There is something cool coming up, it looks like, in the next volume, which my library does not have. And I don't know if it's out yet, to be honest. My cat Gordon really wants to go outside, and I'll take him out with me when I go garden. So I think I'm gonna do that before I clean up the living room. And I think right now I'm going to take a shower because my hair is really not doing it for me right now. Clove, what are you doing? Oh, lamb chop! Oh, she's so cute. She was chomping on this, but it wasn't making a squeak, it's just making this sound. I thought somebody was throwing up. I am freshly showered now. I think I'll pop in that book, take the boy out. So I'm back inside. I started reading The Second Stage Lensmen. I am clearly deep deep into a series. Most of what I've listened to so far has been a recap of this series. I don't really know what's going on. I think it's kind of fun so far. It's very of the time. There's like a plot point apparently where this character is getting nursed back to health. He like gets nursed back to health one time and they're like, ooh, we want them to fall in love or whatever, and then they don't. And then the second time he's nursed back to health by the same person, and then they do fall in love. And I'm just like, oh my god. Kind of fun, kind of confusing. There's a lot going on. I have a plant haul. I have a garden haul, I mean. So, we have red mustard. I have a few of these. I have a boatload of peppermint, because the peppermint's really popping off at this time. Really not that many radish seed pods, shockingly. So I don't really have a ton of them. I also got some peas, and I also have lavender flowers for tea. It's a very pleasing color palette actually, because it's all like this really deep wine color, and then we have the lavender, and the mint also has like that reddish stem. It's really pretty. I am going to take Clover out. Sorry if you can hear her whining. She's driving me crazy. So I'm gonna take her out and run her around the yard a little bit. And I think that's about it, isn't it? It's really hard keeping up with harvests, to be completely honest, because there's so much that goes into processing food. When you work a full-time job, it's hard to eat what you grow. It's just a disappointing fact of the way our society's set up currently. Okay. Whoa, Gord. Sorry, I have another harvest. I went out and took Clove, and she ate a bunch of the tops of radishes. I got ants on me. Ah! Clove was eating like radish stems and stuff like that. I picked a scrawny, a little bit old Florence fennel, so I can saute that. Gordon is in the way. And then I got two tiny little artichokes. So I think I'm gonna have artichokes for lunch because I have 3 from yesterday, I think. I could chop this up and make, I guess, kind of like an aioli, because I'm gonna use mayonnaise and then I was gonna put fennel in it. Does that sound gross? I feel like it sounds good. It's like very Mediterranean, right? I think it'll be good. Oh, Second Stage Lensmen. So far, a ton of talk about like weapons and like a lot of like weapons ideas. So that's kind of fun, maybe a little bit. So I have my little lunch here. I have 2 little artichokes and a dipping sauce, which is, I did something to this mayonnaise. I'm gonna watch Delicious in Dungeon. I just slept like death, and now I'm really cold. The weather has shifted from being like some really warm days to we're gonna have rain again, which is wild. This has been by far like one of the rainiest years I've ever remembered. It's been so rainy. Anyway, dude, I'm like cold, I'm sleepy. I clearly needed to sleep. I don't sleep well anymore as an adult. I'm so stressed out all the time. I just can't sleep. Take a day off to sleep, I guess, is my life now. My little doggy wants to go outside. I don't really want to go outside with her, but of course I will. We'll just run around the yard a little bit. I don't really want to listen to this sci-fi book, to be honest, so I'm just like listening to videos. I think it was the wrong big book to pick. Hello. Sorry if you can hear my little dog chewing her food, but it's dinner time. It's a little after 5. I haven't read a single thing since the last update, but I did mow my entire yard. Today is a day for rest and recovery, I really feel like. I really want a slice of cake or a cookie. What I really want is a slice of coconut cake. I guess I'll just read on the couch until my husband gets home. I think I'm gonna read The Factory because my library rental is going to expire soon. So I did try to read The Factory last night. It's the following day, by the way. It's Saturday. I tried to read The Factory, didn't get very far. I got like a page. It's a super short book, but I'm just so zonked all the time. Now I'm going to vacuum! Finally, so exciting. We have a tiny little puppy on the couch who's about to be upset that I'm vacuuming. But that's okay, she's very cute. Oh, and there's a Lou as well. How am I already tired? I haven't done anything. Okay, so this is a box of mushrooms. This is a ton of mushrooms. I just picked them from my garden. I didn't notice them at all until today. I was putting out some more of my beer bottle border, and I just feel like I need to capture this in some way. I'm not doing like a garden vlog or anything, but just, this is amazing. I left some out there even to grow bigger. This is insane. This is insane. So I am so thrilled. I clearly have to clean this up and process it a little bit more. Get this mycelium elsewhere in the yard. Also, cake update. Today's Sunday, and I did pick up a cake. My hands have all the spores on them now because that was such a surprise. I totally missed those mushrooms. The last few times I've gone out into the garden, clearly I haven't noticed them, and oh my god. I'm still in shock. So, what do I have going on? I did read a little bit more of The Factory this morning. I was a little confused because I was reading, for some reason I thought The Factory was about a woman. The first part is following a man who's like supposed to put moss on like the roof or something of the factory, and then we're like suddenly with somebody else, and like it seems like that's how this book goes. You're like suddenly with somebody else and suddenly with somebody else and suddenly with somebody else. Like there are breaks, but I didn't realize the breaks were going to be with different people, and so like there's different people in this factory. Very weird. I'm enjoying it. I'm reading it kind of slowly, I feel like. So anyway, that's my factory update. The lighting is a little rough. I am having such a blast with Second Stage Lensmen right now. So here's the situation we're at right now. This guy, our lensman, which I think means that you can like read minds. Still not 100% sure about that concept because it was introduced in some earlier book. One moment, got stuff on the stove. I have a huge amount of food to process right now. So the reason I have stuff on the stove is because I have this amount of mushroom. This is from 2 mushrooms from my garden, and I picked like fucking, I don't know, 10. I've processed the 2 largest, and I still have this one, which is huge. I already cut up all the stems and I put them into little cubes and put them in the freezer for later. But anyway, Second Stage Lensmen. He lands on a planet. He's like chasing somebody or something. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on in the plot until this point, because this is when I started to get actually interested in. He gets to this planet and he's like, it's not unusual on various planets with humans that humans are naked. And sometimes all the women wear is like a little bit of adornment, like a necklace or something. That's the paragraph immediately preceding this paragraph, which explains everybody on the planet is a woman. I love this concept. This guy landed on a planet full of naked women and they want to kill him immediately. They're like, what do you mean you're a man? It's like we're in Gerudo Town and I fucking love it. There's also this point made where the woman that he's talking with is like, I'm a human. You're a man. And like, it doesn't acknowledge like I'm a woman and you're a man. It's like, no, I'm a person and you're a man. So there's something interesting going on. But yes, I love this. No, the startling fact was that there was not a man in sight anywhere around the place. There was nothing male perceptible as far as his sense of perception could reach. Women were laboring, women were supervising, women were running the machines, women were operating the airplanes and servicing them. Women were in the offices, women and girls and little girl babies filled the waiting rooms and the automobile-like conveyances parked near the airport and running along the streets. There was just a quote, because I am listening to it. I have to find this quote, because he just said something about beans. Clove, what are you doing? Why are you going through my purse? Hi. He's talking with this woman, and I just feel like they're in a car or something. He just mentions, like, we're trying to be friendly. And she says, be friends with a male? The thought literally seared its way into the man's brain. Listen, Howitt, Kinnison stormed, exasperated. Forget your narrow-minded one-planet prejudices and think for a minute, if you can think. Use that pint of bean soup inside your skull for something besides hating me all over the place. Get this. I am no more a male than you are the kind of female that you think, by analogy, such a creature would have to be if she could exist in a sane and logical world. I'm just living for this interaction. I am so into this dynamic. It's so silly. Anyway, I'm having a great time. I'm finally having a great time. So here are my radishes, which I'm finally getting to. They've been in the fridge for a little bit. Then I'm shredding it so that I can make basically like sauerkraut, but with radishes. The other thing I wanted to show is this apple clock that we got at an antique store recently, and I love it. I think it's super cute, and it does not tell the time properly, but that's fine. I'm gonna have a piece of that cake and a beer, and I'm gonna watch The Garden on HBO, I think. Been watching it, been having a fun time, especially because I'm a permaculturalist. It's interesting to see how this is kind of shaping up. It's about an intentional living community kind of thing, living in sustainable ways, kind of. So that's been really interesting. Also, Second Stage Lensmen, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be funny, but it is so funny. This guy calls women toots. This guy is so silly. This is such a silly book. I'm having a wonderful time. It's so sexist. Well, hello. It is the continuation of the vlog. It is now the following Sunday. So it's been a little bit of a while. I just finished reading Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator by Roald Dahl. There are some pieces of this which were really, really fun for me, but there were also some elements that I don't know, they're just a little bit cringy and problematic, I suppose. There's this phone call with, it's between the President of the United States and China, because in the Great Glass Elevator, they end up going up into space, and so they're suspected of being like either spies or aliens or whatever by the President of the US. And then they encounter some aliens, and then they return to the chocolate factory, which was my favorite part of it. I really enjoyed when they were back at the chocolate factory, and there's this new pill that Willy Wonka has developed, and it is a pill that will make you younger by 20 years. The grandparents all take these pills, and we get into like some fun math stuff. So I really enjoyed, it was like kind of just like a fun math problem for the whole like last quarter of the book. So that was really fun. I have a little quote from that section which I quite liked. First you become subtracted. A little later you are divided, but very slowly. It takes a long time. It's long division, and it's very painful. After that, you become one of them. So I thought that was cute. These are the knids. The vermicious knids. This was okay. I'm not sure if I would really recommend it. I thought it, honestly, if it weren't for some of the parts in the beginning where they're just doing like Chinese jokes, which are just a little bit not super fun. If it weren't for that, I think I'd have a really good time with it. But anyway, I can't really recommend it. Oh, you know what? I had one last thing that I wanted to talk about for Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. I really wanted to read audiobooks because I was out gardening so much and I was going on walks when I was at work. So I wanted to have an audiobook to listen to while I was doing those things. And so I had gotten an audiobook for this, and I had to wait quite a long time to get it. And I just got it last night. So I read it this morning while reading the physical book, so I read it quite quickly. My little dog is drinking water. I'm sorry if you can hear her. I'm sure you can. The audiobook that I was listening to, it was like the British version. This is the American version. And so there were all of these small instances of wording changes. So lorry turns to truck and stuff like that. There's the Great Glass Elevator. Elevator is the terminology used in the British version of the Great Glass Elevator. The distinction between an elevator and a lift is made in the British text, where they're like, lift is just basically what we think of as an elevator, and the elevator is an elevator, right? In this book, they go to this space hotel, and there's elevators on the space hotel, and the British text uses the word lift for the elevators that are on the space hotel because they're just regular lifts, and they use elevator for our fancy elevator. But in this text, instead of using that distinction, there's just like a capitalization distinction, just a whole bunch of other things, like words that were added into the American version, which I thought were quite strange, honestly. They changed like backside to fanny, where like obviously you wouldn't want to say fanny in Britain because that's not what it means. But I'm like, why did we choose to insert the word fanny into this book in the American version? So it was a very interesting, unintentional study on the shifting of British English to American English. I'd been reading The Factory, and I couldn't finish reading that before my library rental was up, which was a little annoying. I have it coming in the mail along with a few other books that I've been really wanting. And I also have some really exciting book mail coming for an idea that I had for a video. Then I got this copy from my book mail of Silent Earth, Averting the Insect Apocalypse. It's not in the best shape at all, so I obviously chose the cheapest option for me. I loved this book. It was so informative and really informs some of my decisions in the garden for helping insects, basically. Did also go to the thrift store yesterday, so I have a handful of books to share from that. But we also have a little duck candle and started burning it yesterday. And this thing, honestly, didn't burn very much at all, which I was so impressed by because I thought we might fucking burn this thing to its little tail feathers. So we got 6 books. One is The Incorporation of Eric Chung by Stephen C. Lowe. Stephen C. Lowe was born and raised in Taipei, Taiwan, and was educated at National Taiwan University, Texas Tech, and Northwestern University. He now lives in Richardson, Texas, with his wife and 3 sons. Runs an international business consulting firm specializing in the development of business in Asia. Sounds okay, just throw it on the ground. I'm so clumsy with books. You have no idea the amount of times that I cut out me like throwing my books on the ground. I also got Are You My Mother by P.D. Eastman. This was one of Matt's favorite childhood books. I did not have this book as a child. He was showing me some of the plot in it, and it gets really stressful. We might give this to a child that we know. Then I found something I am so compelled by, and it's called The Foundling and Other Tales. I have no idea how to say this. I'm guessing it has like a crazy pronunciation. Purdain, maybe, by Lloyd Alexander. The cover art on this is just fantastic. Fantastic. It's so cool. I really love it. It says, enter the world of Purdain for a journey into enchantment. Meet Dalben the Enchanter as a foundling and follow him through his youth. Learn the sad history of the Sword of Dyrnwyn and rejoice at the romance of Princess Angarad at the castle of Lear. Discover the secret of Doloi of the fair folk and his magic stone. Take a step into the land of Purdain, a place you will never forget. Then I got Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance by Robert M. Pirsig. This was really such a book for my family, I guess. My dad's really into motorcycles, and this was like, I don't know, this was just one of those books that was like really persistently around. I think my sister read it. I never read it. Ooh, it's annotated. Love that. So anyway, excited to finally read this. Then I specifically got this for this child that we know, but it's The Gas We Pass, the story of farts by Shinta Cho. And I love the illustrations are so fun and the story is so stupid. I love it. It's like actually kind of educational. Oh my god. Okay. And then I got this. Did you just make a sound? That was scary. Super Sad True Love Story by Gary Steingart, I think is what it is. And this is a cover that I had screenshotted at some point in my life. It's such a familiar cover. And I think I'd seen it in one of those BuzzFeed Books newsletters way back when. And it was like compared to some classic novel that like if you liked that you would like this. And evidently I thought I would like it, but since then I don't really know anything about it. In the near future, America is crushed by a financial crisis, and our patient Chinese creditors may just be ready to foreclose on the whole mess. Then Lenny Abramov, son of Russian immigrant janitor and ardent fan of printed bound media artifacts, aka books, meets Eunice Park, an impossibly cute Korean American woman with a major in images and a minor in assertiveness. Could falling in love redeem a planet falling apart? Okay, I'm so excited. I didn't read this when I was at the store. We just kind of like went for it. That sounds really fun. So that's what I got. I think today would be a great day for me to photograph some books. Don't buy any of them, okay? So I've decided to select Across the River and Into the Trees. And I have been to Venice before. It's one of the places I've been to, actually. This one postcard, I think, is the only thing I have from Venice. So I was going to use that. This book is set in Venice. And then I was going to use this bouquet. I just picked these flowers to represent the youth. Gordon, stop. What the fuck, dude? Stop it. Stop. Hi. Hi. I just put Gordon in the garage because he was being so annoying. Red flowers represent our main love interest because she's so youthful and full of vibrancy. Dead bouquet represents our main character who is old and dying and has been through a lot. Then we have a tiny little duck, which I'm not really sure how to put it in here because I'm pretty sure he goes duck hunting. It's been a while. Not super long. I read it at the beginning of the year, but I don't really remember. But I feel like he was going duck hunting. So I have to look that up because I can also put the duck candle here. Does that look crazy? feel like that actually looks okay. And then I can take the tiny duck out. The other things I'm thinking that I might want to have is like a hairbrush, because hair was like a common theme that I'd picked out. And I might also want to do, if I had a portrait of a woman, like a young woman, if I had a small portrait of a young woman, then I would put that here, but I just don't. This is kind of what I'm working with right now. Don't super love it. I think I need to switch out for some different colors, maybe some punchier colors. We have a Clover being a very good girl over here. So I told her to get out of my light. Look at how good she is. She's so good. Here's kind of where I ended up. I really like the idea of these two items representing our main character, these two items representing the lover, and then we have the setting up here. I like this. The book indeed does open with a duck hunt, so this is applicable. And I did find this brush, which I feel like looks pretty good and old-timey, I suppose. So that's where we're going. So my goal for the year is now in progress, which is great. Now I have to think of another book. I was kind of thinking of the Radleys vampire book, and I really wish I had those fake vampire teeth, but anyway, we'll see what I do. Right after filming that clip, I remembered we just got some of these old bottles, and this one has ducks on it. So I'm thinking maybe this for like a really simple composition. Bottle is just so large compared to the book. So I decided to start working on the Radleys, and the book that I have doesn't have a dust jacket, so there's no text on the cover. So I'm using this page here. Here I have some tiny little puppy teeth from this little girl that we saved to kind of represent the vampire teeth. I also have rose petals for blood and this little bat planter. Thinking of incorporating some like domestic home life kind of stuff, and then having something like that. I could put also, I was thinking like a stack of mail, like bills and stuff like that. I don't know other like regular home life stuff, but that's kind of what I was thinking. Maybe like a knife and a spoon. So this is what I came up with ultimately, and I really like it. To me it's cute because it's like we're having a little meal of this book. I put this garlic on there. I feel like it might be slightly out of place. And then I also put the teeth over here. Maybe up there? That looks crazy. So I think that's it for the Radleys. I don't think I want to try any other crazy compositions. I think I've done what I want. I've photographed 2 books, which is not very many considering the amount of time I have spent on this so far. I have a couple of things that I want to show you, and then I think I'm going to move on and do some other things. I want to show you what I got from the thrift store yesterday because I got a ton of stuff that wasn't books. My goal was summer clothing, of which I'm wearing one piece. So I got these baskets, which have these bowls in them. I'm gonna cut off all this crud from the outside to make them more usable. But they just seemed like a really good deal for what they were. They're, you know, a basket with a bowl. And I need that for the garden use. And then I got this basket for storing our mail. And then we got these really, really cool, like genuinely so cool, hand-drawn and like composed invitations to Independence Day party in this business at Rancho Cucamonga. I think it's a business. Yeah, Wally and Shally's Shack, which I don't know. I don't know. But we got 5 of these from various different years in the 70s, which is amazing. They all look as cool as this. So here's the big bag of clothes I got. An absolute ton of clothes. I got a couple dresses. I got 3 pairs of jeans. I got a bunch of shirts. And I got a cashmere sweater too. Super nice. Yeah, I got a ton of stuff. And then we also... Buddy? Stop. We also got all of these bottles. We got 4 of them. So we got these little ducks. We got these little guys. This is my absolute favorite. This is my absolute favorite. It's so cool. It's a little boy. It's a boy holding a flute. And it's called Boy Holding a Flute. Obsessed with him. And then we have this guy here. So those were all $6. We ended up getting all of these clothes, those books, all the home goods stuff for less than $250, which is definitely the most I've ever spent at the thrift store, but at the same time is an incredibly good deal. Like, incredibly good. So evidently I never close out this vlog, so I'm here from the future to say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please consider sharing this with a friend who you think would also enjoy it. Consider liking and subscribing, and I will talk to you again soon.